Alright, welcome everybody to the Exploratorium's Flower Dissection. Today we're going to focus on the genetic diversity of flowers. And so pretty much what that means is that each flower wants to have as many different children as possible with as many different partners. So pretty much what that means is that each of these flowers is just going to be as different as possible from the next flower. Now the reason of that is because that pretty much if one disease was to come out and wipe out one strain of that flower, then all of those flowers would then die. So pretty much when we look at this flower, we have all these different things that actually make our eyes attracted to the flower. Now some people use flowers for affection or showing people that they care. Some also use them for funerals and showing people that they care once again. Me, I like to do this to the flower. I like to take off each petal one piece at a time and bring the petals down, kind of destroy the flower unfortunately. But when you get past the petals, you actually get to the male and female parts of the flower. And so this is where the genetic diversity is actually started. So right here, all those things that are popping off, we have these little anthers. Now these little anthers pretty much contain the pollen. Now the pollen itself is going to be the male part of the flower. Here in the middle, we have the stigma. Now the stigma itself is going to be the beginning of the pistil, and the pistil is the female part of the flower. So the stigma itself has these very sticky little hairs that are really, really sticky. And the pollen itself is very sticky too. So what happens is that when little bumblebees flying from one flower, say this flower if it was different to this flower, when that bumblebee is crawling around inside the flower, it has these really fuzzy little legs that are like Velcro, and they get stuck to the anthers, and the anthers then rub off pollen onto their little legs, and then when it flies from this flower to this flower, it walks around and it gets pollen stuck right into the stigma. So the stigma itself has sticky little hairs that actually catch the pollen. Now, when that pollen actually gets to the stigma, it then travels down the stigma to the style, which is about halfway down the stigma. So if I can actually cut this off, we may be able to get to that. And now once the actual seeds make it to the style, then they then have to travel to the ovaries. Now the ovaries are going to be right here in the middle of this. And so this is where the actual seeds are developing. These edges right here are actually going to be the placental ridge. And now if you can imagine, some flowers, they want to get their seeds spread around. And so some flowers, they use some flowers like dandelions use wind, while other flowers turn themselves into fruits. And so an apple itself, when it's growing, it ends up turning upside down. The stem itself grows out of this right here, and while the ovaries, where the actual seeds are developing, then start to swell. And so that meaty flesh of the apple is actually the swollen ovary of the flower itself. And so when you pick that apple, you're actually helping out the apple tree by spreading its seed out and doing what it wants you to do. So that's the flower dissection. Thank you guys for watching. Stop by the Exploratorium anytime if you have questions for any of the explainers or myself. Have a great day.